In a world where smartphones are out to replace computers, LG is trying to replace the DSLR. But does it succeed? Hey guys, my name is Preet for LifeTech Australia and this is my LG G4 review. In the world of smartphones, Samsung and Apple cast big shadows. Perhaps no company is more familiar with these shadows than LG, which has been chasing Samsung's mobile division for years. Each time that Samsung makes a move, LG follows along a few months later and less impressively. But this year might be different. Samsung overhauled its flagship smartphone in the most dramatic way since 2011, throwing out long herald features and incorporating new design materials. LG, on the other hand, didn't completely upend its design and approach. The LG G4 is similar to last year's G3 in both appearance and features, and it still has features that Samsung dropped from its phones. The G4 isn't just a warmed over G3 however, it has some crucial upgrades that make for a much better experience. By not following the crowd, LG may have finally found its stride. Visually, the G4 is very similar to the G3. It is made of plastic, has a 5.5-inch display, and has its power and volume buttons on the back, a design trait that LG apparently has decided is a differentiating feature that most people actually want. I'm not a fan of their placement. No matter how long I use the phone with its volume keys on the back, it never feels natural to me. I keep on looking for the power buttons and the volume buttons on the side of the phone, like all the other phones do. The one thing that's new for the G4 is the optional leather back that looks and feels pretty nice. Unfortunately, my Korean model review unit has the standard grey plastic back, which feels pretty cheap compared to the glass and metal finishes on the iPhone, HTC One M9 or the Samsung Galaxy S6. It makes the phone look like something from 2012, not 2015. The design may be familiar and uninspiring, but the G4's display is a real upgrade. On paper, it is the same size and resolution, 5.5-inch Quad HD 2560 by 1440 as the G3's screen. But it has more brighter, has more accurate colors, and is more power efficient. LG is using a bunch of marketing terms that don't mean much to describe the new screen, but it's the fact it is a great smartphone display. I might even be convinced that this is the best smartphone display. It is bright, perfectly visible in direct sunlight, has great color that's not oversaturated, and is just a pleasure to look at. It's as good, if not better, than the Galaxy S6 screen, which is already really good. The G4's other big highlight is its new camera, a 16-megapixel unit behind a new super bright 1.8 aperture lens. The lens is the brightest you can get on a smartphone, and it lets tons of light, which is great when you're taking pictures in dim lighting. The G4 has the same laser-assisted autofocus as the G3, but it has a new color spectrum sensor just underneath the LED flash, which is supposed to make colors and white balance more accurate than other smartphones. It also has a new optical image stabilization sensor system, which LG claims is twice as efficient and effective as other smartphone stabilizers. The result of all this new stuff is really a great smartphone. LG thinks the G4's camera is good enough to replace your DSLR, but I think that's a bit over too much. It is a good camera, yes, but it is never going to be your DSLR replacement. The images are yes sharp and detailed, but they're a bit too pastel looking for me. The white balance isn't as warm as with the S6, and low light images are bright and detailed. G4 also has a new camera app that includes both automatic and manual exposure options while ignoring many of the gimmicky camera modes of years past. The manual camera is practically fun to use. You can adjust white balance, ISO, focus and shutter speed all the way down to 30 seconds, which can make for some stunning long exposure images. It's the most comprehensive manual camera mode I've used in any smartphone. But not everything is perfect. Despite the laser-assisted focus system, the G4 still hunts for focus, and even though the manual camera mode offers a lot, it doesn't let you adjust sharpness or saturation of the resulting image, something I would have really much appreciated from LG. The G4 lets you shoot in RAW and process the images later on a computer for better results, which is fairly uncommon for smartphones. This is a feature I wish many other smartphones like the Galaxy S6 and the HTC had. The front-facing camera is also quite fun with a few nifty tricks LG has put in it. The front-facing camera is 8 megapixels with no other marketing mumbo jumbo that the back camera has. But yes, selfies taking will be a lot of fun. The awkward hand gestures used to take a selfie now lets you trigger a very slow burst of 4 photos, letting you make a different face for each selfie. And you can now launch the camera and take a picture in one move when the phone is completely off by double tapping the volume down key. It results in a lot of poorly framed pictures of your foot or inside the pocket, so I recommend turning that off. While the physical structure is fun to look at, let's see what LG has done internally structure-wise. New to the G4 is a 6-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 808 processor. It's coupled with 3 gigs of RAM and handles everything you might want to do with it. Yes, it is not as blistering fast as the S6 or the M9, but I only noticed that when comparing the phones side by side. The G4 doesn't exhibit lag or stuttery animations we saw on the G Flags 2, and I didn't notice any notable performance issues with it. And yes, it has 2 things that all the other companies have put a nail in the coffin to: removable battery and expandable storage. The swappable 3000 mAh battery has no trouble lasting a full day use of heavy use, and if you're less demanding on your phone than I am, it'll last you the second day. It's fairly better than the Galaxy S6, which gives up in a day. But I wish the G4 had this Galaxy S6's super conveniently built-in wireless charging and rapid charging features. But you can enable wireless charging on the G4 by just swapping out the back case for a wireless charging enabled one. And yes, it does support rapid charging, but not with the cable it does come with, so you may have to buy an additional one. The G4 runs Android 5.1 Lollipop with LG's custom interface on top. Like Samsung, LG says it has trimmed down a lot of duplicate features it is used on its smartphones, but it really doesn't feel any different. It still has the bloatware and is going to get you nothing like the Nexus experience you wanted. LG's software design skills aren't up to par with Google's, HTC's, or even Samsung's. Ugly color choices combined with confusing menus and obnoxious sound effects to make a pretty lousy first experience. But yes, you can turn off those sound effects like any other smartphone. A personal touch on this, I really do not like the way icons have been made. They look too colorful and too vibrant, just a bit too much for me. Overall, the G4 is a big phone with a great display, great camera and a battery that lasts all day. It doesn't have the design that turns heads or emotional appeal that might come from an iPhone or Galaxy S6. It's not a bad smartphone. It actually functions just fine. The G4 is really for the Android diehard, the person that loves the Galaxy S6's camera and performance but can't imagine living without a phone that doesn't have a removable battery or the micro SD card slot. It has a fast processor, a big screen and weird camera functions. It's what most people think of when they think of Android, and that's exactly what some people want. Overall, on the good stuff, it has a great display, great camera and fast performance. But on the other side, it has a pretty cheap plastic build with ugly software. Anyways, the LG G4 gets my personal score of 8, which is really not quite bad, and I really recommend this phone to anyone who's looking for a great camera. Anyways guys, that's it for my review. If you enjoyed it, make sure to smack that subscribe button, give it a like if you enjoyed it, dislike if it didn't, and if your feelings are a bit more complicated, the comment section is right down below. Anyways guys, now I'll take a break from all the talking. Have a nice day, peace out.